Hi, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share a tournament game that I played at the Parma Chess Club just last night. Actually, it'll probably be like 3 days ago for you guys, but this is a USCF rated over the board game that I played against Patrick Connors. Patrick had the white pieces, and I know Patrick's awesome because he was sporting a Zelda tattoo, and it was like an 8-bit type tattoo. So rock on, I like that. So last time I faced him, I can't remember if he was in the 1400s or not. So he played in the lower quad, I think maybe once or twice, and like dominated. And now he's 1630, so go Patrick. And I do think I actually already know that's more like his true strength. Or higher by now, who knows. Now, I was rated 1702 for this game. Happy to be over 1700, but definitely looking to have a good tournament. And, well, let's go ahead and look at this game. This was game number 1. Okay, so Patrick opened with e4. I played e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop to c4. This is the Italian game, and this is following exactly the game from 3 weeks ago, which you can see on my channel. I forget the name of it, but it was a Parma Chess Club game, and we had this exact position, and I played knight to f6, and he did go knight g5, and I went d5, and I'll just go through this part. Okay, and this is the first new move of this game. In the previous game, he played the move queen f3, which is a very interesting, tricky type move. And I had some opening prep with h6, knight here, takes. I know this looks like it's a mess, and I gave up a rook. But after queen d7, I had a fairly comfortable game and won that one. Okay, this one, so if you want to see that crazy rook sack, I think it's entitled Who Needs a Rook or Who Cares About a Rook? Something like that. Okay, but in this game he chose bishop d3, which is another line. The other line that I see a lot is bishop to e2. But bishop d3 is a move that I play myself with the white pieces. And I've seen, I think it was Levon Aronian was the one that gave me this idea to play this way. And the idea is to control the e4 square kind of temporarily with our awkwardly placed bishop on d3. So now if we play the natural move h6, the knight will come to e4 and challenge the knight here. And if we go knight f5, well, the knight wanted to go here anyway, so we wasted a tempo with h6. And after, let's see, I think white could probably just castle here and then here, and I think white's probably fine. They can probably play, just double checking. Yeah, I think they could even play bishop e2 if they want. Now check with the engine. Let's see. Yeah, bishop e2 is the best move, and white has a +1 advantage, which means they're up a pawn, and black doesn't have anything to show for it. Okay. So I didn't play h6. Instead, I played the move knight to d5, which is the theoretical move. And now he should go knight to f3, which he did. If we follow that same line from before, let's say his knight's under attack. So let's say he goes here like before. This time I did not waste a tempo on h6. So when I go knight f4 and he castles, this is a little different, right? Like he castles, I take, he takes. I could take with a queen probably. I'm going to check with the engine again. Oh, I can't take with a queen. Why not? I guess I can. But it says white's slightly better after rook e1. Okay, I don't fully understand this stuff, but I actually kind of like black, despite what the computer might say. Computer's an awesome defender, don't forget. but we are mere humans. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to explain that mostly to myself. Okay, so for that reason, he did not put the knight on e4 and instead put it on f3, which looks silly, right? But it's actually a good move because now the knight is attacking my pawn and does belong there. It's also less subject to possible f5 pawn pushes in the future. Okay, so bishop to d6, I want to develop and guard the pawn. Now here he played castles, and then I played the move knight to f4. And I was still in book here. I have studied this opening a little bit. This attacks the bishop, and white actually can go wrong in this position. I kind of don't want to show it in a way, but I guess I will. White could play bishop e2. I had a game with this exact position, and there's actually the move knight takes g2 in this position, which is kind of crazy. We take the g pawn, which is desirable, and white cannot accept the sacrifice. If they do, they lose the game. I don't have the engine on. I'm going to try to actually show you guys what's going on. The point is that we're going to displace the very important defensive piece on f3 with the move e4. And yeah, I was drawing the fact that the knight was guarding this square, which is rather important. So if the knight goes here, for example, we throw in this check. It's hard to know what to do. They cannot block because, hello, I have a light square bishop. And after king h1, black has a winning move. If you want to pause your video, go ahead and do so now. Okay, so if you said the move queen h4, you're actually incorrect. Now white can win because white has this f4 resource. You can tell I studied this game before the video. And the f-pawn actually blocks mate. And if we take this, white can sack back like this, and white's actually better in this position. Now, I would still play this. Actually, maybe not. The engine, let's see what the engine says. Engine says 2.7 for white. Oh, yikes. Okay, I guess I wouldn't play this, but I'd be tempted to. So instead of that, we have to be precise with the move queen to f4. So before there was that move f4, now there's no f4. We have plugged the f4 square with the queen, and it's impossible to stop mate. No, this doesn't work. That's guarded by a pawn. So we take it and checkmate. So, okay. So all of that is to say that we could take on g2 and white cannot take back, but it's actually still an equal game after that. If white doesn't accept the sacrifice, but a very interesting one, and I think I would enjoy that game. So Patrick did not play that though. He played the theoretical move, rook to e1. So that move is correct. It does attack the pawn again. But it also offers this bishop and the doubled pawns. So I did decide to take him up on that. But now, how to defend my pawn. So I have to admit that I thought a long time here. I may have thought like 9 minutes in this position because I could not find a way to really protect the pawn. I mean, f6 is an option. Oops, sorry about that. f6 is an option, but never play f6. I think that's probably a bad move for good reason. It's going to allow queen b3 check. It kind of wastes the tempo, etc. My original intention was queen to f6 here. But if I go queen to f6, white can play d4. In fact, that might be the response to f6 as well. So I correctly saw that queen f6 doesn't work. And in fact, after queen f6 and d4, sorry that castles was in there, it wasn't supposed to be. The computer says white is +3. So it's good that I saw that. So I actually did find the top engine move, but I had to spend 9 minutes to find it. And that's the move c5. Looks silly to push a pawn, but this move actually has a lot of, there's a lot of reasons why this move is good, and I'm going to share them with you. Number one is that it stops that d4 move that I didn't like. Number two is that I freed up the square from my knight to reroute it to the center, because this knight is obviously, well, my second worst place piece. This is not moved yet, but the knight cannot stay on a5. A third reason is that now the pawn is protected by the bishop. In some lines, I had to worry about that pawn being captured. And the last reason is that if I were to, like, let's say Patrick takes, and rook here, I liked the fact that the pawn now separates the rook from the knight, which is defended by the queen, but I was seeing that that kind of ties down my queen in some lines. So c5, awesome move, and the engine approved it. All right, so let's see what happened in the game. Oh, wait a minute. I went out of... Oh, I castled first. I'm sorry. I actually did castle first. Then he played here, then c5. Wow. Okay, sorry that I messed that up, but it's basically the same. Just transpose those moves. Okay, and then Patrick played what I thought was his first bad move of the game. The move b4, I was actually hoping that white would move the b pawn because it opens up this diagonal, and then I have things like queen d4 ideas. And well, after b4, I think that actually works. Even though this attacks the knight, I can now take, and queen d4, and the two rooks are forked. So I found a nice little winning tactic, which is great. He played knight c3, saving his a rook. I took this rook, and he took the knight. So, okay, I'm actually winning now, or, well, I don't like saying winning, actually. Let's say that black's much better. I think at my rating level, winning is a bit much, especially in a G30 game. If two grandmasters are playing, black is winning. But that's not me. Not yet, at least, right? Okay, so I played bishop to b7, and I do want to talk about this move. So what do you guys think? Is bishop b7 the correct way to finish my development and convert the game? Well, I analyzed this game with National Master Michael Jolson, and he actually said that, well, he kind of looked at me like, bishop a6, of course, right? Like, he just assumed I played bishop a6, and I was like, oh, no, I didn't. I played bishop b7, and he was like, oh, I don't know about that. So, you know, when a strong player looks at a move of mine and says those things, I take note, because that means that my move is just incorrect. And I was like, oh, yeah, I wanted to, you know, put my bishop on an awesome diagonal. And he's like, yeah, but you could just, you know, win that pawn. And I think bishop a6 would do that. I mean, I have so many moves that can attack it, right? Like here, like I'm going to win that pawn. Even, oh, maybe that is better. And probably that makes a lot of sense. to play that way. Instead, I went here, and I was planning on, threatening mate or something, just keeping that as a resource. He went rook to b1, which comes with tempo, though. I was planning this, and then he played bishop e2, and that comes with tempo as well, because now that's lined up with my queen, and it's protected. So I think bishop b7 is incorrect. Okay, so I was planning queen g5. I was getting low on time in this part of the game. I had about 4 minutes on my clock. And I'm sorry about that. Okay, so here's the thing about this position. If I go queen g5, I saw that he has knight e4, and then I was like, well, where do I put my queen? And I found this move. Queen d5, which looks nice, doesn't it? It does so many nice things. It threatens mate, and it attacks this pawn, and it attacks this pawn. So, seems like a good move. So I slapped down this move, and sure enough, he did this, and I immediately played in 1 second the move queen d5, which is actually a game-losing move. So if you want to pause your video and find the winning move for white, go ahead and do that now. Yeah. Well, I'm embarrassed that I missed this move. I actually kind of saw it, and I just assumed that I had defensive resources against it. It's the move queen to g4. But guess what? There are no defensive resources. None of them work at all. Because when I was analyzing it, I kind of forgot the knight would be on e4. So with the knight on e4, it's much worse, right? I cannot go g6 because knight f6 check wins my queen. I cannot go f5 because checkmate. I cannot go f6. Whoops. I cannot go f6 because knight takes f6, I thought. And after rook takes, bishop takes. Still threatening mate. I mean, it just looks just awful. So, turns out that was the losing move of the game. He actually took with a bishop, which allows a drawing move here according to the engine. I'm not going to pretend I fully understand it, but I can say that I played the move rook f7, which is just losing. Had I played queen f7, I think the main thing about this is that now knight f6 check will not come with a fork on my queen and king. So that is why I should have moved the queen like that. But instead, I played this move, and he took here, which is a rather nice move now because, well, this variation is quite good for white. Because I take, and he can now throw in the check. I come up here attacking the knight. Now, if he took the queen, that's actually a huge mistake because I take this way, so he takes the rook. I have to take, and now he takes the queen. And what's worse than that is I played the move rook d8. I didn't see anything better. And I'm attacking the knight, but he takes this, and it's actually check on my king. And white is lost. So that was really unfortunate. So let's go back to that critical moment. I want to talk about a couple things about it because this move defines the game. Okay, I think I'm really happy with the way I played this game up until this one move. Okay, number one, I was in time pressure. That means when I spent 9 minutes, like, on that move that was fresh out of the opening, that was time that could have been used here in this moment where it's much sharper and one wrong move loses the game. So that's one lesson to learn, which I really need to figure out how to fix my time management. So I need to come up with a training plan specifically geared towards improving my time management. And I don't mean being practical. I don't mean that. I'm not going to sacrifice my chess quality. But what I do mean is identifying moments when it makes sense to invest time and moments when it doesn't. If I can do that during my games, I think I will improve a lot. My results will improve a lot. Second thing is that I feel like sometimes when I see my opponent's moves coming and I calculate the move in advance, I get a little bit cocky or overconfident because I'm like, oh, queen g5, knight e4, queen d5, and the knight's pinned. I'm going to win pawn. And so the fact that I did this and he played the move that I expected, and then I just slapped this down in 1 second. Let's think about that. I mean, I never ever play a move in 1 second. But I did on this move because I thought, oh, I predicted his move and I calculated already, so just play it. Well, that was the losing move. So that tells me that I need to be more humble when I calculate something or when I predict a single move, let's say. Because it's not that impressive to see knight e4 coming, right? It's a pretty obvious move. But I should double check my work before I place my queen on d5. If I did that one simple thing, I think I could have found the winning move, which is queen to g6. And queen to g6 keeps an eye on this, keeps an eye on this. The knight is pinned, threatens f5, threatens bishop takes knight, followed by pawn takes, queen takes. Black would be winning after queen g6. Or I'm sorry, black would be much better. That's what I really think. So, yeah, just really unfortunate. But let's glance through at the rest of the game. I like to do an overarching analysis. So I think it is interesting that Patrick played into a completely different line of the two knights, going with bishop d3. I'm actually curious if he plays both of those or what, or if he prepares for specific opponents. I think it's pretty interesting. But we did foul book moves. Rook e1, I was really hoping for bishop e2 because I was going to take on g2 in 1 second. Okay, no I wasn't. Not 1 second. Not anymore. Okay, takes. Castles was an excellent move, but I just spent way too much time on it. Same with c5. Like, I think between castles and c5, I probably spent like 15 minutes in a g30 game. Okay, that is not acceptable time management at all. It definitely is probably half the reason I lost the game. Okay, but I did play, I used time, but I found some good moves and a winning variation, a better variation, winning material. Only to mess it up with this quick queen d5. And yeah, it's only move 20. It's only move 20. And I was in time pressure. So, what a wake-up call for me. So I'll show you what happened. I played rook f7. Oh yeah, we did see this. Okay. Yep, and I lost. And I played on for a while, just hoping for like some cheap trick or something. But yeah, Patrick had no trouble putting me away. So that was my tournament game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Believe me, I don't really enjoy showing you my losses, but I feel like if you guys can learn from my mistakes, then that is going to be really helpful for you. So I did that for you and also for me so I can rewatch the video later. Yes, I watch my own videos. It helps me. I watch them when I'm driving, but don't judge me. No, it's mostly listening, let me put it that way. But it does turn my driving time into useful chess training time in a way. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game. I will be back with another one soon. Have a great night. See you later.